Hi there, and thanks for joining me today as I share with you a number of lead sourcing playbooks that TaskDrive is using for our customers at the moment. Before we get started, I just want to quickly introduce myself. So my name is Mark Colgan, and I'm currently the Chief Revenue Officer here at TaskDrive. I have over 11 years experience in B2B sales and marketing. 8 of those have been spent as a SaaS marketer, and the other years were spent as a salesperson. So I originally started my career in recruitment. I very much cut my teeth with outbound dialing and high amounts of activities per day, whilst also trying to balance interviewing candidates and placing them in roles. And just to give you an idea of what it is that TaskDrive does for those who aren't familiar with us, we offer a lead generation service for B2B sales teams through dedicated researchers, and we help companies in 3 main ways. First of all, through lead generation, so building out net new leads of prospects to contact, which is pretty much what we're going to talk about today. We also help from a data enrichment point of view. That's if you already have existing data, we can clean, make sure it's up to date and it's hygienically clean, as well as append additional data points that you may not have. And also we help companies that have an account-based approach with insights into their accounts, doing the research that their account executives shouldn't be spending the time doing. But before we go into the actual playbooks, I want to make sure that we cover a few important topics. So the first one is that you really need to understand your ideal customer profile as well as your buyer personas. So the ideal customer profile being the types of companies you want to prospect and sell to, and the buyer personas are those individuals within those companies. Because without understanding those, it really isn't worth doing all of these lead sourcing playbooks. You have to know who you're targeting. And this is my personal opinion, but to succeed in sales in 2019, you need to offer value, and you also need to give without expecting anything in return. It's a long play, it's a long game. You also need to understand the buyer's journey across awareness, consideration, and decision, and that different buyers will be at different stages throughout their buyer's journey. You also need to realize that the buyer's journey has changed significantly, but a salesperson's role hasn't. And it's just really important to remember that. And also, only 3% of your market are actively buying at any one time, and 6 to 7 are open to it. So that means that 90% of your potential market just aren't interested, or they're not thinking about it. And that's why it's really important to build dynamic lists that grow on a monthly basis with new data and refreshed with new data from some of these lead sourcing playbooks, which I'll show you in a second. So there's 14 lead sourcing playbooks that I want to go through. Here's a list of them all, but I just want to start first of all with the basics, which is the LinkedIn search. For us at TaskDrive, LinkedIn is one of the best sources to go through. We've tried all of the databases. However, LinkedIn gives us the most up-to-date contacts based on the accounts that we're trying to research, mainly because it's the individuals are updating them themselves. And whilst the databases do say that they can, they update on a regular basis, we still find that hand building lists from LinkedIn is the most effective approach to building lists. A couple of points on LinkedIn search is to make sure that you use Boolean searches so that you're searching for different variations of job titles, and use all the filters. Even with the free version of LinkedIn, you can filter down. In this example, I was looking for head of reward in the UK. But these filters can be very helpful, and if you're just starting out with your prospecting, then I think LinkedIn is one of the best places to start from. The web's great, really interesting playbook if you have data on a website or in a directory that you can access, but you need it all in one place. An example could be that if you're looking for Xero certified accountants, you could go to the Xero's website and scrape the list of Xero accountants there, and then enrich their contact details. Now, you have to remember that scraping may be against the website terms of service, so I'm not suggesting that you do that, but that's just an example of how you can build and collect data based on the people that are going to be relevant to the product or service that you're trying to sell. The event hijack is a great playbook when you know that a number of your key target audience are going to be attending events. Some events even have apps that you could go through manually to pull out the data of the people who are attending. Other events actually list the exhibitors that are attending, And if an exhibitor is attending an event and they've paid to be there, then they obviously have an intention to grow their business. They're investing in their marketing, and it could be a good opportunity for you to start a conversation with them. And like I said, some events have apps that you could go through as well and find out the attendees. Another thing to think about is when it comes to events, you could use social media, and this goes into more of a marketing play. As for example, you've got Dreamforce coming up in November over in the US, and a lot of people will be using the hashtag. A lot of people will be in the San Francisco area for a short amount of time. You could use geo-targeted adverts to drive traffic to your website, or if you're hosting a happy hour in one of the lounges or in the bars outside of Dreamforce, it's a great opportunity for you to engage with people who you know are attending the event and invite them to join you. The social expansion is, I think, my favorite type of playbook for prospecting. What you really want to do here is you identify thought leaders or influencers in your target audience's industry, and then you can build a list of those who have interacted with their comments. So in this example, Patrick Campbell is talking about pricing. If I was a pricing software, or if I was a consultant that helped companies with their pricing, I would see that there's over 400 comments here on Patrick's post. Therefore, that means to me there may be 400 people who are interested in pricing. So again, it's a great time to start a conversation. And you may also want to try the same approach through Quora, through Slack, through Facebook groups. There are a number of different places where your audience is spending time online and engaging, and effectively they're putting their hand up to say that they're interested, in this case about discounts and pricing. The competitor, another great playbook. This is where you can find your competitors' social channels or groups and identify potentially interested contacts. The bigger the company, sometimes they have open groups, others that you'll need to join. Shogun, for example, is a Shopify development company. So if you had a competing product, or even if you were selling to Shopify store owners, this is a great group to go into. There's 5,000 individuals here that you know are interested in Shopify. And again, you could use scraping tools like Phantom Buster, and then enrich them with LinkedIn and Hunter.io to get their email addresses. But again, it's kind of spending time where you know that interested parties are already present. Similar to the previous example, the in-market playbook is where you look for competing or complementary products to yours, and you identify those that are likely, you identify people that are likely to be interested in your product. So for example, if I was a cold email sales copywriter, I would see here that there's 1,400 people that have upvoted Mailshake on Product Hunt. So that tells me that there's 1,400 people who are likely to be using Mailshake. And Mailshake is only one cold email outreach tool. You've got Reply.io, you've got Ample Market, you've got SalesLoft, Prospect.io. There's a ton of different services out there. So you could apply the same approach and look for all those people that have kind of put their hand up to say that they're interested in this, and then start the conversation about your cold email copywriting services, if that's what you offer. Again, just an example to kind of spell out how you could use these playbooks. Currently hiring is a great opportunity to speak to companies who are investing in growth in their business. And if your product can help with that, then this is a good time to contact them. I personally like to use LinkedIn saved searches for key roles that are within my target audience, because this is the time where I know that if they are growing their team, and TaskDrive, for example, can help them increase the productivity of their team, then it's a good time for me to speak to them. And what's great about the LinkedIn searches is that you can save job alerts. You can save the searches so you get alerts when these new jobs are posted. So on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you get a new list of leads that you could potentially target. Of course, you need to take that information, try and work out who the hiring manager is and enrich their contact details before you put them in your outbound sequences. The new role, so this is similar, but it's when somebody has started a new role. So when a prospect of yours or a prospect persona starts a new role, they are more likely to be making a purchase decision. So again, using LinkedIn, you can use saved searches to let you know when a prospect has started a new role. And you could use a tool like Seamless.ai to locate the contact information. And here's an example of somebody in a Slack group that I belong to had mentioned that they've switched to Chili Piper at his last company or his last two companies. He brings that tool wherever he goes. So there's a number of people who are moving in new roles that are going to be open to introducing new technology or introducing new services to the companies they've just joined. The reverse IP playbook, a lot of companies are using tools like Albatross, Lead Feeder, any reverse IP technology to look at what contacts or what companies are viewing your website and what pages they're viewing. However, one of the challenging things is it doesn't always tell you which individuals from that company were on your website. But what you can do is use a mixture between Albatross or whatever the reverse IP lookup tool is, and LinkedIn to identify which persona would it have likely have been, and then you can use this in your outreach to start a conversation with them. You don't want to say, "Hi, I know that you've been on our website," but you may say that somebody has been on the website, or you may just want to share a piece of content and it's coincidental. We're using this very effectively across a number of our customers, where TaskDrive is sitting in between Albatross or Lead Feeder and then their outreach. So we do that enrichment and research for them and pass that information on to our customers. The new technology playbook is a really good example if you sell to a complementary product. So Gorgeous, which is a e-commerce chat AI, they use this type of trigger event to start speaking to e-commerce owners when they had installed a live chat software. And that's how they grew from 100 to 1,000 customers. When your potential customers are installing and investing in technology, in this example, it's Marketo, which isn't a cheap technology. It shows that they are it shows that, first of all, they're at a certain level of maturity when it comes to their marketing. If it's Marketo, they have budget because Marketo isn't cheap, and they'll obviously be looking to get the best ROI from their software. So if you offer a complementary service to a product like Marketo, this would be a great time to really start talking. I say great time a lot, but all of these show different triggers where you can start having the conversation. The account update, definitely more useful when you have larger accounts that you're trying to sell into. You can use a tool like Owler to upload a list of target accounts, and you'll be notified when things happen within those accounts. So it could be that they've raised a round of funding, there's partnerships, they've moved to new offices, they've released an earnings announcement, and if they're restructuring and layoffs, so then negative moments as well. You would then want to obviously visit LinkedIn profiles and locate the correct decision maker if you didn't already have those within your CRM. The intent playbook. Now, there's a lot of talk around intent data. I personally believe that intent data is not so much misused, but there's a lot of mixed understanding about the intent data. However, there's a great tool out there called Lead Sift. And what Lead Sift can enable you to do is to identify prospects who are talking to your competitors or have signaled intent to buy. And then you can combine this data with personalized research to start conversations with the prospects. And as you can see, there are a number of different criteria here that you can search for. And I worked with Lead Sift not too long ago to produce some content about how do you prioritize that intent. So for me, bottom of the funnel being closer to making a sales decision would be when a prospect has engaged with a competitor or they've followed a competitor online. Middle of the funnel, where they are aware that they have a problem and they're just looking for the potential solutions, would be that they've attended the industry event because they're trying to learn more, and they've engaged with industry news. The top of the funnel is more around like a competitor may have followed a prospect. But that's how I would look at prioritizing intent. I'd want to spend most of my time with the bottom of the funnel, where I know that a prospect has engaged or started conversations with a competitor of yours or mine. The reviewer, this doesn't work for everybody, but there are a number of review sites out there like G2, Capterra, GetApp, and they're a great place to find prospects' pain points because they'll often be leaving honest opinions about how their experience was with a software. Now, if you are again, it won't work for everybody, but if you are a company that has a lot of reviews, this one's for HubSpot CRM, you could see potentially where people are unhappy with a competitor's software. And for example, here, it'd be very easy to find this person's contact details because they've got the name of their agency. This one works well when there's a lot of volume. or there's a lot of competitors across, and you can see new lists on a regular basis. The Show Me the Money playbook. So this is using Crunchbase, just for example, as a data source to have saved searches. For this one, I'm looking for companies who've raised around a Series A with over $1 million. They are B2B, they're SaaS, they're marketing automation, sales automation, and they're not privacy and security or gaming, because we don't work, for example, we don't work with those audiences. Once you have seen that they've raised a round of funding, it doesn't mean that they've got an unlimited pot of money to buy stuff from you, but it does show that they are going to have challenges and unique challenges as they try to go from Series A to Series B. And now if your product or service can help them do that, it is also a good trigger moment to initiate a conversation with them and share some value so that you seed your brand in their mind in the future. The one thing to bear in mind is when a round has been announced on Crunchbase, most likely the sales and marketing organizations within the business have already allocated the spend. So it's not as simple saying you've raised 10 million, come and buy from us, but it is, like I said, an opportunity for you to start the conversation. The Clone Playbook, this is one of our favorite ones at TaskDrive. We really love receiving these requests. So here is where you simply record a process that your highly paid SDRs or account executives are doing at the moment, and you then send it over to us so we can do that 40 hours a week for you. So a really good example of this is for one of our clients, their software can automatically add subtitles to videos. So we look at LinkedIn videos that have been published without the subtitles, and we collect the name of the person who published the video as well as the topic that the video was about, and we put that into a spreadsheet, send that off to our customer, who then uses it in their outreach. Now there's no list, there's no database where you can find that data. It needs a human to go through on a daily basis, and we track around 1,000 different keywords and topics to do that. And every day we're finding new people who are sharing videos that don't have subtitles. The message from that customer to the prospect is it shows them the importance, it explains the importance of using subtitles on videos, because a lot of people view videos in their newsfeed without any sound on. So if you don't have a subtitle, your message is lost, and it's converting extremely well for that particular customer. So those were 14 lead sourcing playbooks, and really that's just the start of the process. And what I wanted to show here is almost like the life after the prospecting. So what you want to do is on a regular basis run your playbooks, and you may choose a few of them at a time. So it could be the social expansion, the competitor, the in-market, and Show Me the Money. Then what you want to do is collate that information, clean the data that you have, verify the email addresses is very important, segment by campaigns, and then obviously personalize the data points that you have so you could use that in your outreach. And you may choose different channels for your outreach. It could be email. It could be that you just pre-target them with ads, provide some air cover before your sales team is going to speak to them, call them, use LinkedIn directly, or even direct mail if you found their addresses. So that was it. Hopefully that's been helpful. I love talking about this stuff. So if you're interested, please do contact me. My email address is mark@taskdrive.com. If you're not sure how some of these strategies may apply for you, then please do let me know. We can set up some time to speak about it, and I can show you some of the other examples from customers that I didn't get through to today in today's video. In addition, if you are interested in TaskDrive services, we are offering 50 free leads. So if you let us know who your ideal customer profile is, buyer personas are, we'll build you a list of 50 leads with some various different data points and share that for you for absolutely free. We can't work with everybody, so we do ask you to apply. If you are approved, we will then go through and offer that information. So thank you once again for your time. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, please do email me at mark@taskdrive.com. See you soon. Bye.